Glitch are officially the new kings of indie animation. That's right, Glitch have just released the pilot to their brand new series, The Gaslight District. Created by Part-Time Seagull in partnership with Glitch, The Gaslight District is the latest indie project on the block, and it might genuinely be one of the best out there already. I know that's a big claim, but allow me to explain why I not only believe this, but explain why Glitch have now practically cemented themselves as the new top dogs of indie animation. Hey guys, it's the Pink King here, and I just got done watching the pilot to The Gaslight District, Glitch's latest experiment, and honestly, that's probably the most accurate way of describing this pilot. One big experiment. Never have I seen a series, let alone an indie one, take such massive risks, leaps of faith, and gigantic liberties in order to create something so bizarre and yet so beautifully chaotic. And speaking of chaotic, let's talk about the characters, because this is how you introduce characters properly, people. The cast is relatively small, with only 4 main characters, with Mel, aka Melancholy, Mud, Ken the Butcher, and my new favourite overpowered entity of the night, Redhead. All these 4 characters are so bizarre, and yet they manage to work wonderfully, with the pilot taking very calculated measures in order to build on the characters. Whether it be certain quirks in their behaviours or how they talk to one another, here it's just dripping in personality and buckets of charm. I really like the scene where Mel was talking to Ken about her plan, and you just see the little snippet of Ken holding and playing the little projector while she explains her plans in detail. It's those little additions like that which really say a lot about not only the characters but their relationships. Like, from this one moment alone, we instantly know that this isn't the first time they've done this. Mel is very detailed in her plans and is constantly searching for Ken's approval as she amps up her performance all the time. And Ken is clearly someone who's tired of her constant planning and pestering in order to be into his little crime syndicate, but holds a lot of care for her. Despite him not initially agreeing to it, he still plays the projector for her. Again, it's those little things that make all the difference here, and it works really well, as each character has little moments just like that which give us so much personality and so much life to them. It's small but has a very big impact. But before I go on and ramble about the characters more, because I could honestly do that whole video, let's talk about the biggest surprise that came with this pilot, and that's the animation. My god, this pilot was absolutely disgusting in all of the best ways, and looked truly inspired. This new style of choppy 3D animation with tons of 2D elements and additional creative flair, no joke, reminded me a lot of the Spider-Verse movies. Now, before you crucify me, hear me out. You see, they remind me of the Spider-Verse movies because of how they were able to really push 3D to its limits and really do something that hasn't been done before. And for an indie show of all things to come close to Spider-Verse speaks real volumes here. Now, I will say, the animation is not quite perfect. You know, there are some moments where the rendering looks a bit off or the models look a little wrong, but they're so few and far between. And considering the style of the show, you don't really notice it that much. And no matter how many flaws there were animation-wise in this pilot, the strengths really outweighed the limits, because wow, every single moment really hits you in all the best ways. You can tell that they took a lot of inspiration from other shows like SpongeBob, with all the really high detail close-ups. It's so interesting to see this idea used in a more unnerving sort of way, and it's really well done. Again, I'm just really blown away by how good this all looks. And I know I'm not really going too much into depth with it, but trust me, this animation really speaks for itself, because it's just so breathtaking that I'm struggling to find the words to appropriately justify the quality that's going on here. Like, honestly, comparing this show to Glitch's first few endeavors like Murder Drones or Meta Runner, it's insane how much they've grown over time. And I'm very confident in saying that's probably due to Part-Time Seagull's introduction and vision for this series. Like, whatever this guy was smoking, give me some of that, because I want to comprehend how it's even possible to come up with something so chaotically brilliant like this. Although I will say, the chaos, while effective, might be a little too much for some people, because the biggest and only real issue with this pilot, I'll say, was the pacing. It's 30 minutes long, but wow, a lot happens within those 30 minutes. I know it's a pilot, so it needs to explain as much as possible when it comes to what the actual series will be, but when it comes to the series, I hope it paces itself a lot better here, because there's so much going on that it's hard to keep up with the events that are happening. It feels like they trimmed out all of the calmer moments, and in doing so, we can never really catch our breaths and process what it is that we just saw. There are no points where we take a break from everything. It's just 100 miles an hour. Like, I swear, the amount of stuff that happens here could probably make up a solid 90 minutes. So for it to just quickly be crammed into 30 minutes, it can definitely make it very tough to keep track of what exactly is going on. But besides that, I don't really have any complaints with this pilot. It was quick, it was exciting, and full of charm. So overall, I'd give this pilot a solid 9 out of 10. It was a very strong start with some very exciting moments. And I, for one, just cannot wait to see what it is they do in future with this. But back to what I said earlier, yes, it is my belief that this series has now just boosted Glitch to being the new kings of indie animation. And honestly, I'm okay with that. With the recent struggles of the last indie king, Spindle Horse, which has been consistently getting weaker as time goes on, Glitch, on the other hand, has only gotten considerably better as time's gone on, with each new project they made getting more and more ambitious, with them giving more lesser known creators the tools they need to bring their unfiltered visions to life. Glitch has not only become incredibly diverse in its expansion of content, but has now proven itself to put its artists first and believing that their vision, no matter how out there it is incredible. The impact they've had is honestly undeniable at this point. A few years ago, stuff like Murder Drones, Amazing Digital Circus, and Gaslight District would have been impossible to make without the restrictions of executives, the TV stations, and whatnot. Creative projects like these have been given new life, and it's only going to get bigger, with Glitch having another show on the way with the Night of Guineaverse. Yes, not Gooniverse, as I once said the last time I talked about it, and thank you to everyone who pointed it out. I know, it sounded wrong, but I couldn't understand how you pronounced it. Glitch is only expanding with more and more fun and experimental projects to come, and I, for one, am so excited to see what this new age of indie animation will bring us. And speaking of indie animation, yesterday I released my own indie animation project with my Dinosaur King Remake Part 2. So if you guys are enjoying the new wave of indie animation and want to see what I can bring to the table, then be sure to go down in the description right now and click the link to watch my new animation. It's completely free and you guys will be supporting me massively by watching it. Also, while you're at it, let me know in the comments, are you excited by this new wave of indie animation, or are you still on the fence? Let me know what you guys think down below. I want to hear exactly what you guys have to say. Did you enjoy the Gaslight District? Are you excited for more? Let me know whatever you have to think down in the comments below. And with that, peeps, it's been the Pink King here. And I will see you all next time.